Said we didn't know what we was doing. We was making records that felt good to us.
Right.
And Mary, me, Puff, Jodeci, Father, none of us knew our records were gonna be around and for 25 plus years.
There is no place I know that compares with pure imagination. Look at me and you'll see just the way it ought to be.
You know, people saying, yo, I got a song that could bring you back. I didn't go anywhere. My record is I'm still relevant. So you trying to bring me back from what? You know what I'm saying? I didn't go anywhere. You say Jeff Redd, people know the music.
When I first got the deal, it was in November of 1988. But prior to that, I was going to all the different record labels trying to get a deal. And the way I set myself up is perform. I perform everywhere. I perform at funerals, weddings, everything, just so I can get my name established in the streets. And when I finally went to get a deal, people had heard of me.
Please, let's give it up for my man, the only one, my man Jeff Redd. You just called and you told me.
How y'all doing out there? It's so funny, it's 30 years for the Palace, and I got my start at the Palace about 24 years ago. Reggie Wells was there at the beginning, for sure. But I got one thing to ask. Do my ladies run this spot tonight? Come on, y'all say the time. One more time.
So I had demos, and my demos would be basically, you know, Freddie Jackson songs and that sort of thing. So I actually sat down with Andre Harrell, and Andre had heard of me, and he said, I'd like you, you know, give me a call next week. So next week, I called him, and then, you know, you can't get him on the phone. So next week actually never comes. So Kurt Whitley, who was working at the time as the A&R for Uptown, had told Andre, you gotta go see this kid perform. So Andre went to see me perform down at a club in New Rochelle called the Palace. And when he saw me perform, he came backstage and said, yo, you are officially a new member of Uptown Records. So I got my deal then. And then my expectations of that deal was that I was going to be signed in November and record come out like in January. But I got signed in November, and we started doing these demos and demos and demos. And it was 2 years later that my album finally came out. So that also taught me in life, you know, I'm always quiet about what I'm doing because I never know how long something is going to take. You know, I talk about it after it's done. So because I was telling people, yeah, the album will probably be out this summer '89. So now you got people calling, yo, when your album coming out? Soon, soon, soon. And then after a while, people stop asking me because they don't believe that, you know, it's going to happen. So that actually made me a different type of person as far as telling people what I'm doing. You know, I just rather do it and let it come out.
You got that smell in the air that makes
I didn't realize it till probably a year ago that the record only got 2 ads in the entire country. So when they go after a record gets added in every state or city in the country. That record was only added to Kiss FM, I think, in BLS. It was two separate incidents. One was when I first saw the Jackson 5 on the Ed Sullivan show. Like, I think I was 5 years old. That was in like 68, if I'm not mistaken, 68, 69. And I saw them perform on. So then I'm saying as a kid, I can do this. But then the thing that really took that really sparked my interest is when the lady who used to live in our house, she asked my mother, could she take my sister and I to a show? So my mother said, yeah. Took my sister and I downtown. We waited on this line for like an hour and a half. I never forget, I was about 10 years old. And once we got into the auditorium, and got seated, the lights went down and people went crazy. And the next thing I heard with this guy's voice, "Are you really ready for some Super Dynamite Soul?" I'm like, yo, what is getting ready to go on? Niggas start standing up. And then this guy came out, man, because then the guy said, well, thank you, because now it's Star Time. And he started running off all the songs that this guy did, man. And all of a sudden, it was James Brown. And I said, yo, man, that's what I want to do right there, man. And I was 10 years old. And I knew from that point on, I was going to be in the record business. So I had to come home to take care of my brother.
What was my mama to come home one early morning? Can you hold that?
One base. Oh, you on Magic is the base.
I knew I was going to be on the Apollo stage. I just knew all those things because I put it in my mind, and nothing could have stopped me from getting to that. Of course, I always give all the glory to God, but He planted the dream inside of me. And that's why I say now, man, I'm just enjoying life. Because if I really wanted to, if I wanted to set my mind to it, I could be the mayor of Mount Vernon. I'm working now more than I did when that record came out. Nice guys don't finish last. They don't finish last because at the end of the day, man, I'm still living. I got my health. All my sons are healthy. I still got my mother here and family. So nah. And I can sleep at night, man, knowing that I've done the right thing by people. I can go anywhere and I don't have to look over my shoulder.